You didn't want to work in the.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Because they were our enemy, I did not want to help them or work in their workforce either, not help them along to make war material because they were our enemy. We want to get rid of them, get out of our country. But if you did not obey their orders and they come and search for you and they find you, you wind up in a concentration camp. And most people in the concentration camps, a lot of them died anyway. And I had two dear friends. They were in the same situation. And one got hollered at. There was some Nazis on the road there. They were on bicycles. And they seen that boy in the field there. And they hollered at him to come to him because he looked of age. And he thought he could run away and behind some buildings, but he didn't quite make it. They shot him and killed him. It was very bad, of course. And about a couple of months later, one of my friends, I sat next to his school, you know, we played together, fought together, and hang out and so on. He got caught, and he wound up in a concentration camp, never returned, he died there. And, well, I survived it, thanks to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in hiding for a year and 9 months. First, I went to my grandparents for a while, but they were older people, and they had a little bit of a farm, and I helped along in the field on a handwork always, you know, hoeing in the land or so. They raised a lot of sugar beets and so on, and then we had to hoe that by hand. But it took about 3 weeks, and that work was done. They didn't really need me no more. I thought, well, I'll take my little old bicycle and go down some country roads. I took a chance. And I go home, and then I didn't know what to do. But then I stopped by an uncle and aunt. They had a farm on the way. And I told them, I didn't tell them I was in hiding, but I told them I was looking for a job. And they could stand a little help because it was in the hay season. And that was all handwork too again, you know, with the rakes and so on to get the hay together. And I worked there about three weeks or so, maybe a little more. And then that work was all done too. And then I told them, well, that I was in hiding. Well, they didn't have work for me no more. And, you know, they were scared of hiding me because if they would find me there, they would do something to them too. And I didn't want to bother them. I said, well, I'm leaving and go home. Which was very dangerous because we had to travel on the country road, but then I had to have the main highway where there was more, what do you call that, the surveillance. Okay, I got it. Surveillance there from Nazis. And if they would see me, they would stop me and take me in, but it didn't happen. And I thought, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna register anyway, because I want nobody endangered because of me, and I didn't know where to go or what to do. I felt, you know, almost like a deer in open season. But I met my friend that evening, early evening or afternoon, and I told him, I said, nobody else knows about it, but tomorrow I go to the courthouse in the county, and I will register, because so. Well, he said, it's maybe not the right thing to do, Newt. I said, I know. But what can I do? I don't know where to go. Later that evening he came back and he said, hey, come with me. I said, I don't dare to be on the road really. But I said, what do you want? Well, he said, my dad likes to talk to you. I said, what do you want? Oh, he said, I don't know. Well, he did, but he wouldn't tell me. But I took a chance and took a little bicycle and went on country road. It was a little, well, you could take a chance there. And it went all right, and I come there at his parents' place, or maybe a couple of miles from where we were. And I said, hello, Mr. Bruinsma was his name. You wanted to talk to me? Yeah, he said, what do I hear? You're going to register tomorrow and help the enemy? That's not the right thing to do. Well, he made me a little disgusted, a little mad. I said, sir, you can talk easy. You're not in my shoes. Oh, yes, he says, if you don't register, I'll give you a hiding place right here. Well, I said, thank you, that sounded good, you know. So the next day I went over there, and we had to make a hiding place, and we had to a little bit of a closet more for some newspapers and a few things you could hang in there. And we took that bottom out, and then I could crawl underneath there. And the bottom of that closet was the same height of the windowsills to make it all even in the house. So then my friend and I, we went down there, and with short little shovels, we hollowed it out because there was no basement, it was dirt floor. And we hollowed it out as much as we could, and then filled it with straw and put some old blankets there. Well, that was my bedroom for a while. And I didn't feel very good. And one night, I woke up, I noticed something, just like something had run over me. I didn't know what happened. And I had a flashlight yet, and I looked at on the side of the wall, I see a little hole there with a tail hanging out that long. Well, a big old rat had run over me. Well, when I seen that, I wasn't too happy down there no more. So the next morning I said, you know what? We leave the bottom out of that closet. I sleep up here somewhere. And if they should come, then I can crawl in there. You guys put the bottom in, and I can lock it on the bottom. And because I don't like the company I had there, you know. And I done that for a while to sleep there, but then finally we thought, well, it's all right to be upstairs again to sleep there, and we did. And then that family taught me how to make yarn out of sheep wool on a spinning wheel. So there I said, I had to learn that to get that wheel going and feed that wool in that spindle, and that will turn then and go on a spool. And there I said, day after day, day after day. Well, it drives anybody nuts about, you know. But I did that because then I could help the family along. The yarn was worth a lot of money. But money didn't really mean nothing. They would trade it off for other things, you know, for other clothes and so on. And the women folks too, they would use that yarn in their sweaters, their socks, and even underwear out of that sheep wool. Because we couldn't buy nothing. There was hardly nothing no more to be gotten. And then it happened in '44, my mother's birthday. I wanted to go home because her birthday, they celebrate over there in Holland pretty good always. And I thought, I don't dare to go down the road. It's getting pretty dangerous in '44 already. So I thought I can go through some fields, and you know, everything is not close together there. The fields were small. And they have ditches there, and I would jump over those ditches, and some of them had a gate there, go from one field to the other. I would hide behind the gate and would look around if it was still safe there for me. So then I was safe, then I would run again through the field, and I would jump over another ditch and find another place I could hide somewhat, usually a gate. And then the big highway was coming closer by, and I didn't see nothing there, then I would go again. Finally came in a field, there were some sheep grazing, maybe 40 sheep. And I stood there, I thought, now look at those sheep, how peaceful they are. And they are dumb animals. And they graze and they had no worry. And I'm a human being, and like many others like me, we were hunted for like deer in open season. I thought, no, that is terrible. Why the human race cannot use their brains and do something better. I forgot about my predicament there for a while. And when I looked around quick again, because I woke up a kind, there I saw about 3 or 4 German soldiers, Nazis, guns on their shoulders, machine guns, of what kind of they ever had, and with binoculars looking through the fields that I just had come through. And I didn't know for sure they had seen me or not. All of a sudden I was dead scared, and I let me fall down, flat on my face. And there I laid in that field. But I prayed to God to save me. And I was shivering. I was dead scared. I thought, now I lost 2 friends. Am I going to get some bullets in my body now, you know? It did not feel very good, I tell you. And after I had prayed to God, A little bit after, I heard some footsteps. No, I thought that can't be them there that quick. I turned my head a little bit, and there was a sheep moving and moving, and laid down about 15 feet away from me, right in line where those Nazis were. I said, thank you, Lord, for listening to my prayer. Because that sheep was directed by God and saved me. And that was one of the worst things I went through. One of them. I went through more yet, but that takes too long to tell it all. So I laid there a while yet. I didn't dare to go up. I maybe laid there over half an hour. And I finally went up a little bit and I didn't see nothing no more. And I listened and I couldn't hear nothing. But I had to jump one little ditch yet. And then I would be behind some little trees and then right by my parents' backyard. So finally I did that. And I went to my parents. I never told them about it. They never heard this story. Never told them. And, you know, we had a little celebration. And, you know, there was nothing. Couldn't get cookies or anything. Ma had made something, I suppose. I don't know no more what. But then that night, I had to go back to that place where I was in hiding. But I didn't want to go to those fields. Then it was dark. We had curfew, 8 o'clock. Nobody could be outside. If you did, you had to have papers that there was an emergency or whatever. And otherwise, hey, concentration camp, here we come. So I thought, I'm not gonna do that. I take that little country road, and it's only 2 miles. So then I went real, well, slow like, walking, and so I'm behind some houses. And I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing. And then what was run down that road for a certain distance, and then I would lay down in a ditch. And then I would lay there and wait a minute and listen, come up a little bit again, because they had on the bicycles, they could not have regular lights either, because everything had to be dark. So the airplanes couldn't, excuse me, see where they were. And then I thought, didn't see a little light. They had a black thing in front of that lens with a little slit in it, you know, that little light would shine out. And I didn't see nothing, and otherwise you can hear them talk. Then I would run for a certain distance again, and then flop down again in the ditch, or behind the gate, up right by the road then. And then again, I was getting closer. I thought, okay, I'm about there. I run away yet, and then I lay down again. And I lay down, and bingo, I heard a lot of noise, scared the daylights out of me. I thought, what's happening now? Found out a bunch of wild ducks were in the ditch there. And when I jumped down and lay down, they got scared of me, but they scared the daylights out of me too. And they flew away, so, oh boy, my heart was bouncing, you know. So I laid there a while. Then finally I went back up again, and I got back to the place again where I was in hiding. And then people took good care of me. And I was so happy after the war that they took so good care of me. I said to him, I want to do something for you, sir, Mr. Bruinsma. No, he said, you did your duty, I did my duty, gave you a hiding place, and that's it. No, he said, you don't understand. I'd like to marry one of your daughters. So I married Florence. Yeah. Now you ask me more questions, I don't know what you want.
Okay. So how do you think the war affected the children of Holland?
The smaller children didn't know any better, they grew up with it. But the young people my age that time had an awful time, a rough time. And many got caught and got killed.
They didn't have much to eat though either, did they, the children?
What?
The children didn't have much to eat though either.
Well, no,
Ration.
especially in the big cities it was terrible. A lot of people even died of hunger. They couldn't get nothing. I was lucky that we lived in a country and in the province of Friesland, and there were a lot of more dairy and so on. We could go to a farmer, and Dad would always do that, and get milk from a farmer. So and we had a nice garden. We raised potatoes ourselves and vegetables and so on. But otherwise, it was not good for the young people. But the younger children didn't know any better. They grew up with it, but they knew they couldn't get new clothes or nothing. When the ones clothes from the older one goes to the little ones, and it was a terrible, terrible time. And well, everything was rations, you know. We could not buy nothing. Grocery stores had nothing no more. It was not good. So, you got another question?